Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the full practice. This week we're working with the theme of presence, and it's perfect because it's Christmas week, but it's not that kind of present, right? It's going inward. It's that moment, being in the moment and getting the most out of it. So we're going to go ahead and start with the centering, and then we'll get into sun salutations, and I'll take you to a full practice where we're going to focus on drishti. Drishti means sight or vision. So it's a gaze point, and that will help take us inward. So we'll get started. Taking your hands by your sides, just close your eyes for a moment, and then we'll focus on the bandhas. So mula bandha. Mula means root. Bandha means lock. So the muscles you're sitting on, engage them. And then take a moment, and then right above that, below the navel, draw the belly back. And we call that Uddiyana Bandha, and it means flying upward. So with Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha engaged at the top of the spine, now we draw the chin down and we connect with Jalandhara Bandha, which is the chin lock. And now with the bandhas sealed in, we can release the hands and focus on the breath. And it's already taking us inward. As you inhale, feel the rib cage expand. And then as you exhale, feel the rib cage relax. And just tuning into the breath and noticing, are there any restrictions? Inhale and exhale. And one more, inhale, focusing on this breath, exhale. And now we'll take the hands together in prayer position by the heart, and we'll vibrate an Om together, and then I will recite the quotes. So inhaling, If you love someone, the greatest gift you can give them is your presence. Once you realize the power of your presence, you won't be just anywhere. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. When asked what gift he wanted for his birthday, the yogi replied, "I wish no gifts, only presence." Can we stay present in this whole practice with the help of the bandhas, the breath, and the drishti, the gaze point? So let's go ahead and get started and make this a full practice where every moment has purpose and meaning. So coming onto all fours, let's go ahead and really round the spine. And as we do that, lifting, right, but also gazing down the nose into the navel, and really get that sense of lifting up. And then inhale, start to come forward, gazing down the nose and a little forward along the floor. And then exhale one more time to really round the back, gaze to the navel and lift way up. And then inhale, coming forward, gazing down the nose and a little forward, arching the back. And this time round the spine, and let's take it to downward facing dog. So now try to keep gazing towards your navel. Maybe it's more your upper leg, but right in that direction, right? And breathe. Maybe you need to bend the knees and straighten a couple times, but keep that gaze point, breathing. Inhale, maybe you want to bend and really reach long through the arms, and straighten. And then find a place where you can hold, breathing. Inhaling and exhaling, keeping that gaze either to the navel or to the legs. And then we'll slowly start to walk up, but keep that gaze down the nose. You can look now to the floor and kind of watch your steps. And then from here, just let your body hang for a moment. Now we're going to slowly roll up. You could bend the knees if you needed to. Pull the belly in. Round your spine, gazing down the nose, visualizing that your spine is being stacked one vertebra on top of the other till you get all the way up. And then come to stand, and we'll find Samasatihi, standing still and straight, gazing down the nose and to the hands. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with Sun Salutation A. And I'm going to have some blocks here to the side and a little towel. I always have that. You could use a yoga belt, or you don't have to use anything. Totally optional. So here we go. Surya Namaskar A, gazing down. Inhale, we change that to looking up to the hands, just to the hands and not beyond. And then exhale, fold. And then inhale here, you're gazing down the nose to the legs, and then look up a little bit, but still a little down the nose, and we'll take the body back. Now hold this plank, gazing ahead a little bit. I'm going to lower my knees because it helps me keep the body line for my push-up. So lower, just get the most out of this push-up as you push back up. And then we'll come through to upward facing dog. Now gazing down the nose, see if you can keep your head in alignment with the spine. Lift the sternum, and then the head goes back a little, but you're gazing down the nose. And then exhale. That's a tricky one, but it really helps keep you focused and inward. And breathe here. So find that gaze point towards your navel or towards the top of your legs as you breathe. Try to keep the bandhas engaged so the belly is lifted. Feel that. Inhale. So the breath is in the back body and the front body, but higher than your belly. Inhale and exhale, keeping that gaze. And then let's slowly start to walk up. As you walk up, you could watch your feet as you push down, so the gaze is to the feet for a moment. And then fold. Inhale, lengthen, gazing down the nose as you reach up. And then gazing to the hands. And exhale. And we'll do one more like that. So inhale, reaching. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, and let's go ahead and take it back. Hold, find the strong plank with the tail down. I'm gazing down the nose and a little forward. I find a spot on the floor, a little forward, lower, rise, and then coming forward, lifting through the sternum, keeping the head on the spine. And then maybe there's a tilt, but I'm gazing down the nose, so it's relaxed. And then exhale and downward facing dog. And just breathing here, inhale, keeping the lift of your belly, and exhale. Make sure the shoulders are rolling away from your ears. You can gaze to the navel or maybe to your legs, breathing. Each breath, feel each breath, it's nice and long breaths. And then we'll go ahead and make the way up to the front. So you can watch your feet if you want to, and then you're going to look forward and find where your feet go. And fold. And then inhale, lengthen. Reaching, gazing to the hands. And exhale. And now we're going to do Sun Salutation B. So let's go ahead and bend the knees. I'm going to use the blocks here just for a little height, but you don't have to. And gazing down the nose and up to the hands. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Find a spot a little bit forward. Lift the heels. Keep that gaze as you lift up and back. And then from here, we'll lower, keeping that gaze a little forward, and rise. And then from here, coming through, keep the tail under, gazing down the nose, and then letting the head go back. And then downward facing dog. Gazing to the navel. Inhale here, let's step the right foot forward and we'll start to rise up. Let's just reach the arms up, gazing down the nose and maybe a little forward to the floor as we bend the back knee. Keep that gaze strong, it'll help you balance. And then start to rise up and then lift the sternum, reach, keep reaching. And then we're going to come forward, gazing to the hands, reaching, and take the hands down. Step back, gaze a little forward, and lower, lower, and then rise. And let's come through down the nose, lifting up, and downward facing dog. And we look to the navel. And then from here, step your left foot forward. Let's reach the arms up, gazing down the nose, and then find something on the floor a little ahead of you as we bend the back knee, keep reaching up, and then start to really straighten the back leg, keeping the right butt under, lifting up. And then you can take your gaze up to the hands as you start to reach to the hands. And then keep your gaze at the hands as you reach forward. And then let's take the hands down and step back. And lowering, your drishti is a little forward, and come into upward facing dog. Shoulders down and wide, gazing down the nose as you lift up, and downward facing dog. And breathe here. Gazes to the navel or to your legs, breathing. The belly is lifted, you're engaged in bandhas. Keep breathing. Feeling every breath, every move, and getting the most out of this practice. Now find a place where you want to jump up and put your feet down and gaze there and push down with your hands, lift the feet up and land and fold. Bend the knees, gazing down the nose, up to the hands, and come to stand. Let's do one more, bending the knees. I'm not going to use the blocks, but you can. I just want to see if I can get that height without them. Gazing up to my hands and fold. Inhale, gazing a little forward, and I'm going to float back. Keep that gaze as I lower and rise, and then come through. Big breath in, tail under, and downward facing dog. Now we're going to come into warrior one. So stepping your right foot forward, and then the drishti now is going to go from down the nose, up to the hands, tail under, breathe. Keep gazing to the hands. And then we start to reach forward. Keep that focus forward. And we take the hands down. Step back and lower and rise. And then come forward, gazing down the nose and let the sternum open. And take it back, down dog. Other side. So stepping the left foot up. Keeping that gaze down as you reach up. Gazing up, breathing. And then let's slowly reach forward, taking the hands down and lower. Keeping that gaze a little forward as you rise, coming through, gazing down the nose, taking the head back a little, and downward facing dog. Breathe, gazing to the navel if you can. Inhale and exhale. Notice also, in addition to the drishti, are you getting the most out of this pose? Are you reaching the heels back, reaching the shoulders away from your ears and long arms? And then find a focus point, bend the knees, push down, lift up, and fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms, up to the hands, and come to stand. Samasatihi, and just feel everything still and straight. And then we'll take the feet out hip width, hands on the waist, gazing down the nose to start, coming forward. And let's go ahead and grab the back of the legs. Keep your spine really long here, and keeping your spine long, go ahead and drop in. Just gaze down the nose and breathe. Shoulders away from your ears. Try to straighten your legs. Keep that drishti, that gaze, just gently down your nose. Breathing. Inhale, lengthen. Gazing down the nose again. So some people say it's the nose tip that you're gazing, but to me it just means like an inward gaze out. It's not a cross-eyed gaze either. It's a very calming gaze. Drishti is super important, especially if you have a lot of things on your mind during your practice. It will keep you centered. So let's go ahead and do some standing poses and explore this a little bit. So stepping out, turning the left foot in and the right foot out, we'll come into Warrior Two. So where's the Drishti here? As we bend, we just gently gaze over the fingertips, right to the fingertips of the right hand, and breathe. Inhale, feel the external rotation, breathing, looking towards the fingertips. And then we'll come into Utthita Parshvakonasana, side angle, reach. And then from here, we'll take the hand down, or you could stay there. And then here, gazing down the nose, and then maybe it's possible to look up to your left hand, but maybe not. Maybe you need to look to the elbow. So that's up to you. And then we'll inhale here and rise up. We'll go to the other side. Turning the right foot in, left foot out. A gentle gaze down the arm, out the fingers, and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Focusing on the breath, the external rotation. You can't help but be present. There's so much going on. So let's circle Utthita Parshvakonasana. We're going to change this gaze, gently turning the head, maybe gazing up to the right hand. Maybe it's more to the elbow. Maybe you have to be straight ahead. But make it intentional. Inhale, rise up. And then we're going to pivot to the right for Trikonasana. So inhaling here. And then look down to your hand to start, the right hand, so you know where you're putting that hand. If you weren't using a block, you could be here. And then let's just change the gaze. Down the nose and up to the hand, breathing. Inhale. Exhale, turning the right ribs to the left and reaching that left arm. And then inhale, rise up. We'll go to the other side. So turning the feet. Inhale, gazing down to the left hand to start. Maybe you have to move it so it's right under the shoulder. And change your gaze upward. Breathing, inhale and exhale. And one more breath. Inhale, rise up. And we'll pivot the feet for Parvarita Trikonasana. So this is a big balance pose. So if you're really centered, you should find it. You'll be able to find it. So let's come across with the left arm, really pulling the right foot back and down. Gaze down to your left hand. I have it right outside my right ankle, and then I reach the right arm up. Now I'm going to change that gaze up to the right hand, if that's doable. Otherwise, you could look straight ahead. Breathe. Breathing. And then inhale, rising up. We'll go to the other side. So turning the right foot in, the left foot out. Inhale, gazing straight ahead to start. Now take your head and follow your right hand at first. Reach the left arm, and now we're going to change it. So keep turning till you can gaze up to the left hand if possible. Breathe as best you can. Keep pulling the left hip back, turning the right ribs to the left, and then inhale, rise up. Keep that gaze. And then we'll turn to the right, and we're going to take the left knee down. And then from here, let's find a nice twist here. So we're going to come across with the left side. Really try to get in there. Turn. Now, this one, I think it's super important to keep your gaze down at first so that you can get steady and nice and balanced. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and start to turn your ribs. Now, if you can, maybe your drishti can go up towards the ceiling, but only if that's doable in your body. Otherwise, just gaze down the nose and look straight ahead and rise up. Feel the work in the glutes when you do that. We'll do the other side. So coming down. So keeping the gaze down the nose and to the foot. Try and look at your left foot as you come across. And really look there as you lift the back knee. It'll help you find the balance. Then start to turn. Turn. And maybe your drishti or your gaze can go up to the ceiling. Maybe not. Wah! When you go too far, you get wobbly. There we go. And then rise up. So it's good. You just come back and don't let it throw you. And we'll come to Samasthiti. And now we're going to step out for Prasarita Padottanasana. So take the hands on the waist, inhale, and exhale and come forward. We'll take the hands on the floor, look up, and exhale and take your head down. Engage your legs, and then pause. And then from here, make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. The legs are really engaged. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Take your hands on your waist and rise up. And then from here, let's just turn the feet out and come into a goddess pose. So inhale here. Let's gaze to the hands in prayer position. Breathe. Keep that intention, prayer position. Breathe. See how low you can go. When you go deep into a pose, it's so nice to stay connected and definitely present. Breathing. Inhale, rise up. And then let's go ahead and step up to the front, Samasthiti. So now we're going to come to some standing poses where we're going to challenge our balance and use our drishti for assistance to go deeper. So let's use the wall this way today. So it's behind you and you can use it for support as much as you need. So we'll start by drawing the right knee up. And as you do that, really push down through the left leg and notice how your balance all of a sudden is challenged. So now let's find a drishti. So along the floor, maybe where the wall meets the floor, gaze there and notice, did you get more balanced by doing that, more centered, right? Maybe you don't need the wall and then come down. Let's do the other side. As we age, it's super important to keep our balance, right? The ability to balance. So the drishti will really help find that focus. Now for a moment, look across the room and notice how that's a lot less stable, right? But when you really tune in, you might be able to find that. And then down. So let's work on that with Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So let the right leg come up. See how much or how little you need to use the wall as you gaze down and forward, pressing, lifting, breathing. Keep that focus, keep that drishti, open out to the side, keeping that focus. Notice where you can go with that. And then let's bring it back, keeping the drishti. We fold forward, same drishti, folding forward, rising up and holding the leg out there. See what you can do and slowly coming down. Now we'll do the other side. So let the leg come up, keeping that gaze. Extend the leg, breathing. Try to really straighten your leg, keeping the drishti. Inhale here, exhale, opening out, keeping the gaze. Maybe you're not using the wall at all. Breathing, bringing it back, and then keep that same drishti as you fold in. Rise up, holding the leg out there. Keep that gaze, and slowly coming down. Hopefully that went well. Now we're gonna come back to the front, and we'll vinyasa our way down to the knees. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold, gazing down the nose. I'm going to put the blocks down. They just offer a little bit of support. And fold. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Let's go ahead and take this down to the knees. So from here, we're going to step the right foot forward and we're going to work our way into Anganeasana. So from here, just gazing down the nose, start to lunge forward. Feel the tail under on this left side. Make sure you're a little in front of the knee, or you could pad yourself if you needed to, or put a pad under the knee as you lunge forward, lifting the sternum up. And then from here, we're gonna come back and and we're gonna find our way into Anganeasana. So it's really tricky in back bends to keep that gaze down the nose. So let's see if we can find that here. Inhale, keeping the tail under, keep that gaze down the nose, even as the arms reach. Reach, 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 reach. You might see your hands, even though you're gazing down the nose, and then inhale. You'll notice when you do it, there's a nice sense of calm. So let's do the other side. We'll start with the lunge forward. So really gazing down the nose, the weight is a little forward on that kneecap. Lunging, keeping the tail under. And then we'll come back and we'll do Anganeasana. So gazing down the nose, inhale, start to reach the arms, start to bend, tucking your right butt under, gazing down the nose as you lift up, keep that gaze, up, up, you're gazing down the nose, even though you might see your hands. Breathe, stay connected, and rise up. It's really interesting how that changes things, keeps the calm, and back bends can cause some stress for some people, right? It's very energizing. So let's come into Ustrasana, but we'll do the side entrance. So take your gaze to the right hand and keep it there for a moment, and then start to take your gaze to the left hand as you circle it around. You're gazing down the nose and then to the hand as you lift up to go back. Go back. You can gaze at the hand at this point. And then circle and come back. Try the other side. So look down first. Start to look at the hand, but it's down the nose into the hand as you lift up to go back. Keep feeling that, breathing. And circle and come up. And now we're gonna make our way to standing. So you could come into a down dog. First gazing to the navel, feeling that. And then slowly we'll just walk up. And inhale, lengthen. And hands come down. So we're gonna do some standing drop backs, working with the drishti. So I'll do the side first, so that you can see where we're going with it, and then I'll do it at the wall. So you can have your feet wider than hip width, and it's gonna vary depending on your hips. I like to have mine a little turned out because it helps me turn on the glutes a little bit, right, for support. So let's take the hands to prayer position, and we're gazing down the nose. And then we're gonna lift that sternum and find the back bend, right, in your back. And then reach the arms. So the back muscles are working here and the front is opening. So keep your gaze down the nose. Now, once you've gone as far as you can, then you start to use those glutes to take the tail under a little bit. Use the legs. Breathe, 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 breathe. And then inhale and come up. Now, some people are going to find they're a little bit more restricted, maybe in the shoulders. So you could go quite close to the wall and go here, as long as your back bend is even. That's what matters. So we'll lift up, reach the arms, lift the sternum, start to find that back bend, take the tail under, and maybe you're here, but it's even, right? You feel the legs working, everything's working, and then you come up. Or you could do that again, or you could step forward. So now I stepped forward a little bit, and we're gonna try it a little bit more forward. So if that's accessible for you, and maybe we'll hold it a little bit more a little longer this time. So inhale, let everything lift up. Find that back bend as much as you can, lifting up to go back, up to go back, up to go back, up to go back. Maybe you can touch the wall, or if you have a bar, you can grab it, reach, reach, and then use the legs and come up. It also works to drop back on a piece of furniture like a couch if you find you're getting close. But you want to feel like you're in control of it, like you're not going to drop. And the drishti helps with that. So let's keep that gaze down the nose. We're going to just come down into a squat. So take the hands together, coming down, breathing, breathing, and just go to where it feels good in your body. Maybe you can reach the arms. Maybe you could keep your hands here, just coming down, breathing, and then we'll find our way to the floor. And from here, we'll come into a nice forward fold. So sit up. You could use your towel if you needed to for Padottanasana or belt, but you want to be sitting up so the spine is long. And then from there, you're gazing down the nose to the feet as you fold in, and then your drishti will be down with your nose. So just take it where it feels good in your body. Breathing, exhaling, inhale, keeping that inner drishti, even though the head is down. Inhale, lengthen, and rise up. And now we're going to come into a twist, Marichyasana C. So we'll bend the right knee, feel an energy of the right sitting bone to the right heel, and sit up. And then from there, we take the crook of the elbow across, gazing down the nose, lift up, and exhale, turn the left ribs to the right. Keep turning the ribs, gazing down the nose, and then the head will turn. But it's from the rib cage. It's not leading the turn. And then we come back around. And then we'll do the other side. So bend the left knee, and energy from the sitting bone to the heel. You can take the crook of the elbow, sitting up, the gaze is down, lifting up to turn the ribs to the right. If you wanted to and it felt good in your body, you could take the arm to the other side. Now notice I'm not doing this, looking that way and leading that way. No, it's just a lift up. I'm turning the ribs, gazing down, and gently the head follows. So nothing feels forced, coming all the way around. And then inhale back to the center. And from here, sit up tall. We're going to roll down to the floor. So you could bend your knees if you needed to start. Sitting up, and then exhale, start to curl your spine. So we're really rounding the spine, pulling the belly in as you do that, curling, curling. You could use your hands and coming all the way down. And once we're down, we're going to go ahead and bend the knees. And then from here, let's take an articulating bridge up. So curl the spine. I'm gazing down the nose and lifting up, up, up. Make sure your neck is long. It's not down, it's not up, centered. And then reach the arms. Get really long here. This is a nice release. Start to curl your spine down. Pull the belly way in and tuck your tail under. Coming all the way down. All the way down. Taking your time and letting your hands come down. Now we're going to come into an inversion. So you could use a block, but you don't have to. And it just helps to elevate the pelvis. And we'll reach the legs up. So we're reversing the blood flow here. We're coming into a supported inversion. You want to straighten the legs, make sure your ribs aren't popping out. You could also always take this into halasana and shoulder stand, or just stay here. Halasana, we would come over, right? Keeping that neck long. And you could stay in this series as long as you wanted, or maybe shoulder stand, gazing down the nose the whole time. So you stay focused, you stay inward, and you could stay as long as you wanted there. Only if this is accessible for you. Some people have, and you could bend the knees for Karnapidasana. It's contraindicated for people with osteoporosis sometimes. So if that's the case, then we would meet you right here. And then let's go ahead and take the feet down and come into Padottanasana. And just notice that you could close your eyes here, keep the drishti inward, an inward drishti as you let the knees fall open. Maybe you want to take your arms out to the side and breathe and just notice what's going on inside. Stay connected to the breath, the inward focus. And then we'll let the legs come up and let's lift the hips up. Shift them to the left, keeping the gaze down the nose. Let the knees come up and we'll take the knees over to the right. You can gently take your right hand and guide that left knee over, keeping the gaze down the nose. Just turn the right ribs to the left. Gently, maybe changing your gaze to the left fingertips, but just gently let the ribs do the turning, not the head, and breathe. Inhale, let the legs come up. We're going to lift the hips up, shift them to the right this time. Let the knees come up, take them over to the left, gently letting your left hand guide that right knee over, gazing down the nose, and then let the shoulder find its way down towards the floor as you gently gaze over the right fingertips. Breathing, allowing the left ribs to turn to the right, keeping that gentle gaze over to the right hand. And then inhale, letting everything come up. And then we'll even out and we'll just pull the knees into the chest and curl up for a moment. Pull the belly in. And we'll come into Savasana, where you go completely inward and let go of the body and just stay in this presence of peace and bliss. And stay here as long as you'd like. But I'm going to go ahead and take us out. So start to become aware of your breath. And you can slowly start to move fingers and toes. And then bending the knees. Let's roll over to our side. Come into a fetal position. Just keep your eyes closed for a moment and stay in this moment. And then we'll work our way up to seated. And we'll find ourselves in a nice seated position where we can just notice, where are we in our body, in our mind? And let's use this presence as a present to ourselves and to others this Christmas, and let it resonate in everything you do. Namaste.